party. So did everyone enjoy the subject matter of this class? Anybody who?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Okay, I know that some of the projects were more on the more difficult side, but the best thing is that you can take one tiny thing away and let that be something that you've learned from that painting or from that lesson. You're not going to love all your paintings. I remember one of my teachers long ago said probably 1 in 100. So if you get a pile in the corner of your studio and it starts to look like that, that's what that's about.
I'm getting close to the 100.
Or you end up with a lot of bookmarks that you can give away, or you turn them over and then you use those as your scrap paper for testing.
I have this felt portfolio.
Okay.
That I bought. It's really large. That I bought at Jerry's Artorama before the summer. It's hard to lift at this point.
It's hard to lift. All right, so you're piling your stuff is piling up. Well, you know what?
Size order.
And you can recycle things, and just you'll find a use for them eventually. But I was looking at some of even the demos that I did. Maybe there's one thing that I like in that pile, but there's many things. Even though I know what I'm teaching and we should be learning, I always learn something from it. Something always happens, and I try to remember. That's the other thing. Now once you learn something, then you have to remember it and bring it to the party. Okay, I think we're going to start. What do you think, Michelle? It's
10:01. You can start.
Okay, I'm going to start. Good morning to everyone. Of course, today is our last class in this session, and then we start again January 28th. I'm just going to give you a little preview of what I have in mind for that. I'm calling it Your Favorite Things, and that's what we're going to be painting, your favorite things. I will demonstrate every week with one of my favorite things, but then I would like you to have, if there's 6 sessions, I'd like you to sort of start looking around, whether it's a favorite book or a teacup or a piece of something you picked up at a flea market, anything that might be of interest that you'd like to, record as a painted image. The other thing I was hoping is that you look around for some kind of a painting journal. This is one that I've been keeping for a while, and occasionally, the paper is not that great, but I still paint in it anyway. I'll just show you. And then, like this can be a drawing, and then maybe I'm going to do a painting from that another time. This is, like a peonies that were going crazy in the garden. But these are my favorite things because I've visually recorded them. So I'd like you to either have a painting journal or something that you can assemble later, maybe keeping them all a certain size. They can be turned into cards like Carol did. Or, something where there's a connecting link between the paintings that we do, our favorite things. Okay, so that's a preview of next time. Now I want to review what we did this time. And I want to ask you if there's any questions or highlights that perhaps you had from the lesson that was taught. Glass, metal, fabric, all of those things are probably the most difficult things in watercolor painting. Nature, you can get away with a lot of, brush strokes but you can't get away with that kind of stuff when you're doing real items. Okay, on this one, did anybody have a comment or a lot of heartache with this, or did you find that it was interesting and you learned something from it? Anybody?
I never finished it, Karen.
Who's that?
Sue Morocco.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe someday or maybe not. But that's not finishing something is kind of a sign of move on.
Yeah, well, one of the things, because we have those videos,
Yeah.
I'm going to spend these dark days of winter going back over and redoing some of these things because you give us so much, which is wonderful, but I have a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, I had
But I have a lot to do, which is great.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was the case. And I'll tell you, I go back and review the videos to see if I'm, repeating myself or sounding ridiculous at times, but that's okay.
I haven't been able to see any of the videos. I don't know. I'm probably just not going to the right place.
Let's see, Michelle, how can they get to the videos easily?
I'll put it in the chat. It's if you have to go to lifelongmontclair.org. On the left side, there's the YouTube selection. It's on the bottom. I think it's the second to the last listed on the left side. If you click on YouTube, you'll see it'll direct you. It'll go directly to YouTube, and then you'll see all the choices for these classes. And the latest classes are listed first.
Okay, good.
Okay, so get there because they're pretty good. I mean, they're informative and you can always replay. Of course, this one with the leaves of the season and the colors and learning about negative painting where you put down the lighter blue wash first and then you go on top. That's something that has come in handy so many times in my painting adventures. So call that one up and, dig this one out and you'll be reminded of that.
I had two questions on that one.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Well, one question was, I bought the masking fluid.
Okay.
And I got something that I put in the jar, with the little needle-like nose.
Yes.
And it comes out in a blob and then gets thin. Is there any way to deal with that? Or do I have something that's just too thin?
You know what? No, here's what it might be. The angle that you're holding it when you're applying it. If you are directly vertical to the paper, then the rush of the masking fluid is too great. So just back off a little bit, like you would almost hold a pencil. And that should help.
Okay.
All right.
So
So
and the other thing, just as a note to anybody, I used whiteout on the pink thing when I forgot to put highlights.
Oh,
put a little whiteout, which worked great. But when you're doing this and you're reaching for the masking fluid, don't reach for the whiteout.
that will not work the same.
It was a whiteout pen. It looked the same.
Yeah, that's right. So be careful with that. On the garden tools.
Karen, I have a hint on using the masking fluid.
Yes.
It comes out a bubble first, so I always do that on a scrap piece of paper.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
So don't get the bubble on your painting,
Is that Camille?
Yeah, that's Camille.
Okay, Camille. Yeah, and you're awfully masterful with that masking lately. I've noticed it in your paintings, and you're getting quite good with it. So you must have the right hand. Anything else?
I have another tip for the masking fluid.
Okay.
So I have the Daniel Smith one with the comes already in the little container like that.
Yes.
But it's similar to your container. But what I do to stop it from getting clogged up is I put a toothpick through the inside. I don't know if you could see that. Let me see. Here, I put a toothpick inside the thing. Comes out the top, and then I keep it from getting clogged up. And then that way, all I do is remove the toothpick, and then I can put it on top, and then I can put the little skinny tip on. But I keep that in there so it stops the thing from getting all blocked.
Yeah, that's the same thing I do with a straight pin and the small ball.
You straight pin, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? We really have to take care of these things because once in a while with warm water, I run it through the whole thing and that keeps it going. So I always have two on hand. So if one is giving me the devil, I go to the other one.
Does anybody use this kind of masking fluid, which is Schminke, SCHMINDKE, because it's
it either comes in a blue or a white, and it's got a very small opening, and it's very easy to use. It comes out blue on the paper, and then dries, and it works pretty well. I like it a lot. I'm on my second one. And the other one that I find is fun for writing is a pen that
Yeah.
goes on very lightly. You have to really practice with it for a while. It's got like a felt tip, but it's great for writing.
Cheryl, is that a uniball pen?
It's called Molotow, MOLOT.
Oh, yeah, I've had those.
Art masking liquid pump marker.
Yeah.
So,
I find the only trouble with that one is that it dries up, the pen doesn't last a long time, but it still has a different feel than
Right.
the bottle with the point. So you really need a couple different versions.
yeah, that's what I think. I like to have my tools.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, all you need is a big wallet when you go to Jerry's or Blick.
That's why I figured it out. That's why they're called starving artists.
There you go. There you go. Okay, on to this one, just real quickly. I saw a lot of beautiful garden tool paintings. When I look at this one, like I said, I have a pile of things I like and don't like. I would put this in the don't like pile. And the reason I say that is because I think that this got a little dark in the background. I like the ones that I saw from you guys that were lighter, but I wanted to try something different just to see, what that would feel like. So, that's the thing. You try. I may paint this again on the lighter side just to see, but it's a pathway. And then we get to this one, the glass with the berries. There were a lot of very, very nice ones here. And we had a lot of technique going on in this one. We had the wet on wet in the background. We had the masking fluid with a palette knife on the surface. We had painting here. We had the idea of what it was like to do glass with masking fluid. So there were a lot of things. And you might even go back, and sometimes I will even write things on the back of these paintings to remind myself of, the journey. Okay.
Karen?
Yes?
Karen, this is Camille again.
Hi,
On
Camille.
that particular one,
Yes.
I used so much masking fluid. I'm not, the fine line, but I found it difficult to make it blend into the painting, in some cases, I just left it white.
Mm-hmm.
Showing.
Yeah.
It doesn't show because of my background, unfortunately. But do you just blend in the color that is next to it?
Yes, I do. I just use water, and then I use water. And occasionally, if I feel that the water is not enough, I will mix up a very, very light tint and go back in there.
Okay.
Okay. That's sort of how you do that. And then, depending on how much reflection and sparkle you want, because this is your painting. Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Now getting down to the last two that we had. Let me just put these over here. You know how I was talking about road maps? Well, I happened to find this, which I really thought was kind of interesting. This was my road map, believe it or not. You can see the center one here. And then I had my color palette running down the side. These were the other two. I did a series of 3 of these paintings. One was like a white pumpkin, one was the gourd with garlic, and the other one were like 3 squash. So when I looked at this, I said, boy, what a good idea to do that. I mean, I've been telling you to do road maps, and then when you look at the final painting of the one in the middle, you can see I wasn't far off from my plan. I made it happen. So that's why a road map is a good idea, especially if you do a series of things. Maybe when we do your favorite things, there might be some kind of common thread. Here, what I used was the color in the border, and I also used that dark eggplant color. Sorry? I'm sorry?
No, I was talking to my cat.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, you can see that a roadmap, especially when you want to do a series of something, is really good. Okay. So speaking of roadmaps, this was the one for the mill house, I'll call it. And then I did send steps along the way online. And you know, there's things on here. I might even try this again because I was thinking that, you know, there needed to be better definition in the rocks. I like the little house with the wheel. I thought that turned out, that was okay. So probably, you know, if I looked at the painting like that, you know, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But you know, there's good and bad in everything that you do and accomplish. Okay, that one. Now, when I got to the sunflowers, I sort of tried to go the route that I planned, but I think my flowers got away from me a little bit. But you know, they look a little bit like they're Van Goghish in a way, just because they have a wild look about them. But you know, I think it was successful. I like the way I popped things out of you know, the border, and that was the whole idea here, making the background border look kind of like wallpaper, and then carrying it across. And I saw any that I saw that were done. I don't know if I saw any sunflowers, but I certainly did see some mill houses that were good. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about any of the work that was done so far? Any more questions, I should say. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit freeform. And what do I mean by that? I'll show you. Oh, the two images I sent you, the one with the cookies, and then did you get this, everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
We want real cookies.
Oh, okay.
Please tell me you didn't bake those.
No, I did not. I not that I couldn't do it, but
I know.
Right. And then this scene, which was, you know, another scene, which I thought, you know, if you're feeling in the mood, they would be a nice compliment for each other. You know, if you did two together, that would be, you know, something to work on together. That'd be nice. They could either hang together or hang out together. Okay, so here we go. Now you can continue and do those, and I will comment on them, and I will show progress on my work on them. So you can, you know, after the session is over. So it'll be something to, you know, work on when everything is kind of quiet. Okay, this morning what I did, Michelle, I can have the table now, please. Aha. Okay. Speaking of leaves and what to do with them, here I tried something really, I wanted something, since we've been so controlled for all these other paintings, I wanted to try something where it was freer. So what I did first, I picked 3 colors that I liked working with together. I laid this leaf down here, and then I took the blue and went around it. So it made that empty orange space. Then I took it on I put paint on it on the other side, and I printed it down like that. Then I had this leaf, which I guess is an oak leaf. And I did the same thing. I laid this here and then just freely, you know, did this green around that, and then put paint on it and printed it over here. So what I would like you to do, I would love you to try one of these with leaves, because it sets you free after you've been, you know, so controlled for so long. So, and it has a nice feel about it. There's another thing that's happening here. I don't know whether it's obvious there or not. Can you see what's in that paint that's in there is a metallic? Can you see it's a little bit sparkly? Every once in a while.
Some of it.
Pardon?
All of it or just some of it?
Just the veins. are metallic. Okay. And every once in a while, I just have to dip my brush in that gold metallic or silver. It just adds a little bit of zing to something. And then I said, well, you know, this had such a flowing pattern, and I put a little bit of orange down here and a triangle in the corner. So it was orange, blue, and green. And then with this little bling of gold metallic. And, you know, there's something really kind of free and exciting about that. I don't know if you like that or not. But now I'm going to show you, I'm going to do one. Okay. So whatever leaves you have, that may be something that's, you know, on the back burner for you one day. And choose colors that you like, not a whole bunch of crazy ones, but, you know, some. Okay. I have this really big pad, and I'll tell you why I have a big pad. Okay. Because it's a really big leaf. Okay. Now I was going to do something where I actually was going to draw on here. But then after I did that other thing this morning with, you know, just the printing and the feel for it, I'm going to turn this way. This is the leaf. It's, let me tell you, it's like 10 inches across. It's just amazing. And I said, what am I going to do with that? You know, if I paint it, it'll never be, you know, never be the same. So after I tried that kind of free form idea with a little abstract and a little bit of paint and printing, and then you can always get back in, by the way, you can always get back in here and do more detail and paint, you know, in watercolor. You can always add more to it or not. Just leave it and go on to the next. You'll find you'll have a big pile of them after a while. Okay, so let me do something with this big leaf, and we'll experience it together. I have a nice big brush, and I'm going to just lay this on here. I originally had it a few ways, so I'm going to do one over here where I just go around it and get the edge of it. I'm going to move it down a little bit. Okay. So, you know, and this, you want your paint to be a little on the thicker side because you're going to need that. Okay. So what to do? All right. This looks exciting. I'm going to try some purple. Yeah. I'll wake everybody up. Whoops. Of course, you don't want the paint on the paper before you want it there. Okay, so just, you know, keep going back to the well there and getting, because you're going to need quite a bit of paint. I would even also suggest that you mix it up in a cup, but this is a demo. This is just to show you, you know, the freeness of this, and it also helps you be a freer painter when you do something like this once in a while instead of something so controlled. Okay. And it's nice to be controlled, but you know, it's also nice to be freer at times. Okay. So this one is going to be one where I'm going around the edge. And you need a nice big brush. And don't worry, you know, don't fret, you know, if it's not exactly right. Not exactly perfect. That's what this is all about. This is about more freedom. So go around your edge. Let me tell you, once you start this, you're going to absolutely love it. You're going to love it because it's different. It's a different feel altogether. And you should try to have enough color mixed, which, you know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And if you want a different kind of an edge, you can go back and, okay, almost around to the edge, almost. Okay. Okay, so there's your shape. I mean, it's not wonderful. It's okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paint all over the leaf. This will be exciting. I'm going to put it over here. Now, you know what? I think I'm going to change the color a little bit. We'll see what happens. I think because of the limited space, I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. And these are, you know, this is a work in progress. What do we like with purple? Like, anybody have a suggestion color-wise? Oh, maybe
red.
Red. Oh my goodness, I was right in the red thing. Absolutely right in the red. Purple and red. Yay. This is a pretty exciting red. Let's see if you guys can see it. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go right over where I did the purple, so that's okay. So you might get purple on your brush, you might get it on the edge. That's a little bit like printing, and it's a little bit of
Erin, is that your silver black velvet wash brush? Or?
It is. It is. And this is a new one. This is a 1-inch. Imagine.
Ooh.
A 1-inch brush. Very exciting. I know.
It's like $50, right?
No, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't $50, and I was that's why I bought it, because it was reasonable on Amazon.
Okay.
And I always look under the Black Velvet series because they add them, and then they add them at a reasonable price. So, and it does the trick. Okay, so that's pretty covered. Okay, now let's see what's going to happen. Okay, I'll bring this guy back in. You know, and if you have, oh my goodness, we're having drip fill. Okay, I'm going to put this down like that. And then with a paper towel, go around. And try to press along the edges, and if you can feel the veins, you know, try to get some of that detail from the actual leaf. Because when you go back in and you want to paint something, you know, you'll have that for yourself. And don't worry about drips. You know, you can always turn them into something else. You know, that's the fun of this. It's a little abstract, of course. But we need some abstraction here and there. Okay, so now I'm thinking that this is going to be okay under there. Let's see. It's always a surprise. Okay, now I notice that there's not much happening on this stem, but I can always paint that in. Ooh la la, look what's happening there. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Now, the idea that this one is open, so I would probably paint into this one. I would probably leave this one and maybe add some things there. But right now, I'm just going to put color in and around just to show you my thinking as to what happens next. Okay, now this poor leaf, I'm just going to leave it over here and let it hang out, maybe dry a little bit. Okay.
Karen?
Yes, John.
I have a question.
Sure.
Did you press that leaf before you started to work with it?
Did I what?
Press it? Make it?
Yes, I did. Flat? Yeah. Yes, I did press it.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you, it was pretty flat, but when I got it home, I put it under some books and, you know, did a little pressing. That helps when you're doing this. I'm just going to clean the palette up a little bit because I hate dirty watercolor. Okay. So do you see the excitement in something like this? Yeah, it's kind of
That's gorgeous already.
And you know what? That's the thing. you can build on it. You cannot build on it. You know, the one that I did this morning with the smaller leaves, you know, I'm going to leave that just like that. Other ones you may do something different with. But I really think this is outstanding as far as, you know, the pattern and what's happening there. Now, what I might do, this is a little daring. Wait till you see this. Okay. Listen to me. I'm daring. Okay. Now, what some of the idea might be to take water and to drop it in here and there and to see what happens if the paint, you know, what will happen is the paint will run to the water, but it also makes a really cool happening, almost more natural. I really should change this water, but I want you guys to see see what's happening there? It's like it's kind of marbleized. You see that? So, I mean, you can even build on the excitement. Now, what if we wanted to put another, there's a bubble there. What if we wanted to put more color, another color in there? So let me see if I can add, I have another kind of let me see, another kind of red. You guys know opera red? Sometimes it's like a hot pinky, but today this doesn't look
Or rose.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did I say? Opera red, opera rose. Thank you. So where the purple picked up on the leaf print, so then you might do this. You might actually drop in some other, some other red. But what you need to do on something like this is in order for it not to get spotty and, have no connection to what, the rest of the leaf, you need to keep in mind the shape. And then you need to have a connection between the color all over. And then add a little more water here. Let it just drip down the brush. And then let that color bleed in. But now, if you wanted to go back in, and what are we going to do with this one on this side? What's going to happen here? Well, that's a good question. But since it has such a solid shape, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to put some paint in there, and then I'm going to score into it with the stick. And I'm going to see if I can create another feel. Another feel. Let's see what these are about. This almost has it's really magical in a way, the way it's working. I hope you guys can see the right angle. You see that? And I would probably go back in there and, do a little more noodling around and maybe enhance the stem, because right now it's not. I don't know if I would try to take that stem from the original leaf and maybe cut it off and print it on there, because it wouldn't be natural if you just drew it in. I mean, unless you did it real free form. You could. Okay, but let me get over to this purple area and see what we're going to do there. You don't want to get too many spots on. I'm just going to turn this around so it's on a better angle for me. Okay. You know what? I'm going to have to change the water because it's making me crazy. So hang on 1 second.
Where's baby? Yes, my baby.
Okay. Sorry for that. But it's just, you just can't, you can't really work with dirty water on watercolor. It doesn't work. Okay. Now, you know what I'm thinking? I am thinking that, let's see what we put inside there that would relate. That's the other thing. Now you have red and you have purple. So what's going to happen to the rest of this painting? What would work with that? What colors? Now on the color wheel, of course, something that's off the red would be, you know, like a reddish maroon color, which we have down in here. And then on the purple side, you can have a blue that has purple in it. You know, it can go that route. But let's see what happens. I'm going to go the blue route. And remember what I said about 3 colors? If it gets to be more than 3 that you have to think about, it gets to be kind of like a circus. So you just don't want it to get, you don't want it to go that way. Now, what I might do is, well, maybe you want it to go that way. I shouldn't say that. Okay.
I love the circus.
It's hard. Sometimes we all feel like we want to go and join the circus. I'll tell you that.
Or maybe we're already there.
Maybe we're right. Yes, we might be. We might be. Okay. So I have a little card here, you know, a little piece of paper, and it's, you know, it's okay. It's not as fun and bright as I was hoping. So I'm going to add a little more of the turquoisey color to it so it gets a little brighter. Okay. Now, this was a round brush. You see this? This is a round brush, but I think I'm going to change to the square one because I've already created that outside edge that has a squarish feel to it. So here we go. I'm going to dip this in here a little more. Okay, now, and then I told you I wanted to get over there and kind of score it. Now, some of the purple is picking up, which is kind of cool, I think. You know, this is one where you don't want to think too much. You want to just let it go. And what happens when you get to the red? What do we do there? Okay, well, I'm still thinking about what to do there, but you can see how the square brush makes more sense. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go across there. Now, if I was doing this by myself, I probably would not have gone over that red that quickly, but it's not terrible. Okay. Okay, now while I have this color out, I'm going to just let that, you know, settle into the paper for a minute. I'm going to actually put some of that outside here. I don't know whether you guys can see that. Maybe you can. So as soon as we're done, you can run out in the rain and you can get some more leaves. And you can try some monoprinting painting. This is it. Okay, so now that I think what has to happen in here is I think I have to add more color. So I'm just going to go right back over it while it's really wet. Okay, now I'm going to get, instead of using a stick, I'm going to use a palette knife because this is such a large, let me see if I can get this a little better position. This is such a large, oh boy. Don't want to drop that on the floor. It wouldn't be fun. Okay. All right, let's see. What's the best way for you to look at
That was good.
That was good?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see here what the best angle is. Let me just move this over a minute. Oh, so you can see.
Yeah.
I wanted you to see the top of the leaf.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I go back and I look at the leaf, I have it in my hand here. If I go back and I just take the palette knife and I go all the way down to where the stem is. Okay. And then what you can do is actually go off. You can actually make the stem and go right off the purple. Okay. So now with this, there's a lot of curvy, and these don't have to be super regular. They can be a little abstract, of course. They can be a little wider. They can be on other angles. Okay, now there's one that comes way out here. But if you do have the edge, you do have this edge and you want to try to continue that so at least you know it's a leaf. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, in order to make that make some sense, I'm going to go back in there with another color. So let's see. It's like a darker blue. And I'm doing these spontaneously, so but you don't want to get rid of all the blue that's already down there because that's kind of a nice color. But you want to define your scoring a little bit. And even when it's down here, you want to define your scoring. Okay, now it may look a little crazy, but in the end, if you spend the time with it, it will come along. Now what I'm going to do is, how am I going to relate this one to the red one? I'm going to go back on the other side. Okay, turn this around. I don't know why this pad is giving me so much trouble, but there we go. But you can see the relationship between the red leaf, the blue leaf, the purple. And what I'm going to do is put some of this blue. And there's no rules here. And I think that that's the thing that makes this fun, is that, you're not bewildered by, oh my goodness, is that right? Is this right? Just let it happen. And there may be some wonderful things that come out of a painting like this. Or you may have to just get another piece of paper.
Or it's a nice note card.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, this is pretty big, but if you took a photograph or scanned it or, something like that, it might really work. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go a little bit down here. But you can see that I wish I could show you the whole thing because it's actually looking pretty cool. But that's what'll happen. You'll find your way and you'll say, oh my goodness, look at what happened there. And it can be really interesting. And you don't have to cover all the paper. Some of the paint from what's underneath can come through. Some of the whites, if you like. Okay, now I'm thinking that this corner here really the corner that's, I'm going to move this all the way up. The corner that's down here, that's down around the bottom of the red leaf. I'm thinking that that's going to do something else. So I'm going to take another color. It'll probably have to relate, of course, it'll have to relate to the, this is kind of a plum color. I'm thinking that it's sort of like what's happening in here a little bit. And then, you know what, I might add a piece of it along the bottom. So this is, I'm trying to think, I think Daniel Smith, is it? The paint vendor, the paint company. This is a color called Potter's Pink, and it's very translucent, and it is just like no other color. I'm gonna show you on my little testing pad here. It's really interesting.
Ooh.
Isn't that cool? And it's not like our other colors, but you might find it somewhere in there. So you might try Potter's Pink. I absolutely love it. And you know, you just have to use it in at the right moment. It's not good everywhere all the time. Like most things. Okay. So now I'm just going to go in here, up, down. But this kind of abstraction or free form painting is good for the watercolor artist to do once in a while, and then you go back to something that you're working on that might be tedious, and you'll bring a certain freedom to what you're doing, which is really nice. Now, I don't really want to fill all that in, but I do want to bring some of that color in. So what I'm going to do is switch over to the round brush and go to the Potter's Pink and just drop some of it in there, but mostly on the watery side, so that it still holds its shape. But you know what you don't want to get rid of? You don't want to get rid of those actual blotches, because they're so cool. From my angle. They may not be cool from everyone's angle, but
they're very cool.
Thank you. Okay, so there we go. And then, you know, now if this was a little drier, I might really go nutty and show you some metallic on there. But yeah, I might do it anyway, even if it's wet. What the hey? Okay, and now we really need to relate this Potter's Pink back to what's happening in the center there. So I'm going to actually put some in here where it's overlapping and let it go. And then just go back and add water. Let the water help you. Let the water lead the way. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna leave that. And how can we relate one side of this to the other? We can bring a little bit of that Potter's Pink over here. There's like a triangle of color there that I just filled in, you know, and when it dries, it's going to be an interesting shape. And then I'll just put some of that over the blue down in this corner too. Not the same, but just, you know, let there be some relationship between the shape of the leaf, the colors in the background, and now we have a purple, a blue, a red, and then we have a combination of those colors together. So it's interesting to me. Okay, does anybody have any comments or questions on this technique?
That would look nice printed on fabric.
Yes, it probably would. It probably would, especially this section. What's at the bottom here? This area.
Karen, which brand of Potter's Pink are you using?
That's Daniel Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, because I have Winsor and Newton, and it looks a little different.
Yeah.
It's more clay looking. It's more It's more pottery.
Oh, more like terracotta.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
It's not
Well,
a-
you know, every brand, you can buy the same color in 4 different brands and they will be different. It's just the way it is. They all want to make it their own, and that's what they do.
okay.
Okay. Now, it's not much I can really do at this point, except I'm going to actually show you what that metallic is like. And you know what? If you can, add that to your paint box, a metallic, because once in a while it's going to really surprise you and you're going to go, oh, why didn't I think of that? One time I had a painting of a very long, tall painting of pink tulips, very long and tall. And I had the leaves on there and the tulips on there. And oh, hang on. And the background was really just getting away from me. Like, what could I possibly do with that? So I mixed a brown, like a real deep brown, and I mixed it with gold. And it became a metallic brown. And it was divine. It really was. And I was so like thrilled with it. I said, oh, that's what I can do with it. So, you know, it's good to have around. You don't want to use it all the time. You don't want it to infiltrate your other colors on your palette, but you know, that's what can happen. Okay. All right. So now you guys can see most of the leaf here. It's all very wet, which is, you know, a little unfortunate, but that's okay. I'm gonna jump in the pool. Let's see what I got here. And I have a very nice gold. I don't know. Lately they're coming up with these brands that have all metallics. Have you guys seen that? Where, you know, in Blick, and I don't know if Jerry's is doing it, but Blick had a huge display of just a whole bunch of different, all colors that have become metallic. You know, they're mixing the metallic paint with every color. So it's, you know, you have to know when to use it and when not to use it. Okay. So what would I do here if I was going to use the metallic? That's a very interesting thing. I'd probably go back and look at the leaf one more time because I still want to be influenced by, you know, my subject. What am I, you know, what is this? How did it happen? Where is it going? And in this time now, I've switched over to a number 4 brush, which is kind of fine. And since I do draw a lot, I'm going to actually just draw right into this wet paint with the metallic. So you're going to see either something good or a mess. Well, we'll take our chances. Now, from the top, let's see. Okay, since it's over, let me turn it over. That's a smart thing, Karen. Okay, now. So, and then, you know, you might come into that a little bit. I'll go back to the top and see if I can. And you know what? Let the shape of everything. You just follow the shape around, and even if it's not exactly as your print goes, that's okay. This is a time to just, you know, have fun with it. Okay. And then in this case, maybe I'll put some veins in that are metallic, which over everything else. I don't know how it's going to look or not. But I think when it dries, it could be really cool. And the stem, I want to get that stem back in there. So in this case, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut it right off. I know, it's a little scary, but that's okay. I'm going to cut the stem off. because I don't want to draw it in. I want it to be more printed. Okay, so now I put the stem on my palette here, my paint palette, and I'm just loading it up with some metallic. Let's see how I can print that. Okay, it's in there. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But what can happen is if you wanted that to stand out more, then you could you can add dark around it. Okay, so here we'll go back in. Okay, so as far as some of the things that are happening here, there's some good things and there's some that are not so good. But, I have a couple of blossoms, which, when you put too much water on, that's what happens. But, not to fret. There's one, what is it, coming down the side, which I don't mind that. There's one over here in the other corner here. And, if I wanted to really work it out, I could just by putting water and, But I think the most important thing here is that you see this one was printed. This one was gone around with color. This one was printed. So those are things that you can try. And, you never know when you're going to have great results. In fact, this Potter's Pink might be kind of an answer down here. I don't know whether that should be darker or lighter. Well, let's try it. It's sort of messy in a way, but there's things that this brings to the party. There's things that, if you wanted to just try it, you can easily see that this one was a little more controlled, because I left and then I put the light green in the background. And then there was one was printed here and then one was done this way and put the gold on. But I think this one, to me, is successful in all respects. I probably wouldn't do anything to this. I probably, I might just, leave it alone as it is and turn it into a card or something. But I think there's a lot of good technique things that are happening on this one, and that works. This one, I think, I started out where the printing of the leaf was really good. I'm not crazy about the metallic there. It looks a little too controlled. I think the scoring on here is kind of interesting. And, might you do something more with that? Maybe. Let's see.
I wish you had done the printing first and then the other one underneath, like looking underneath. I think it would have looked better. Yeah. I don't like that purple across the
right here.
One.
Yes. Yeah. That's what's bothering me too. And then who is that? Ricky?
Doris.
Karen.
Yeah.
Can I have to leave. I have to start another call.
Okay.
So I'm going to make you the host, but I need to know, do you want me to change your spotlight? Do you want me to?
Yes, let's just change it because we're really done on the table.
All right. So I'm going to make you're big now, and I'm going to make you the host. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Flip out.
Okay. In closing, I would just like to know if there's anything that you expected from the class that you didn't get from the class that you wanted more of, because when I'm preparing for the next session, I want to make sure I add that.
Can I just share, Karen?
Of course.
I just want to say I did a little different when I painted off the leaves. I don't know if you can see, I painted streaky things.
Yes.
Can you see? So it wasn't a straight line.
Oh, you went around. Yeah, that's
well.
really
I came On the leaf, off the leaf, on the leaf, off the leaf.
Oh, so it's a combo. A combo
Yeah.
of that.
So
And look, you
not
have,
as abstract as yours, but it was
no,
good.
well, I think mine went off the deep end, but not in the beginning. The beginning one I thought was more successful. This one, since I was enamored with that large leaf, I said, well,
Yeah.
let me see what I can do with that. But I think I might try that again. I still have the leaf. I might do a little, a little more with it, but under the time constraints, it's, it's
Right.
hard to do that.
That was great.
You could do a large banana leaf next.
Oh, okay. A large banana leaf. As far as what you're looking for in the class, did you get what you needed? Is there anything I could have added? Was there too much?
I thought it was good as always.
100%.
Always enjoy a class.
I thought it was great.
Okay. All right. Well, then when I'm preparing
I'm
for
very
this,
Very inspirational.
I loved it.
Yeah, motivational and
Fabulous.
inspirational. Thank you.
good. Well, that's
You
what
were
it,
Now I
amazing
got some more
teacher.
ideas.
that's
More
what it
ideas.
needs to be, inspirational. So I'll be looking for some paintings if you're still going to go during the break, either the other scene, you can do another border, you can do it without a border. It would be nice to try another one with the border, whether it's sunflowers or the other landscape. That might be nice because then you would have a pair. It's always good to have a pair of something. But I'll be looking, and I wish you happy painting, especially
Okay.
on days like this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
so much,
Karen.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Karen. Be well.
Okay.
Yes, be
All
well.
of you as well, too. Take
Yeah.
care.
Right.